Ayun. Hmm. Mm. Video. Ayun. Yung video. Okay. Oh my.
Good evening, everyone. How are you tonight? Hope you've a relaxing Sunday evening. Welcome to our CCG Health webinar. So this is part of our 8 p.m. Habit of Being Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise. So I guess we're gonna have these three tonight because I believe that health is wealth as well, and we have a great topic of food for thought, especially with regarding to immunity and brain booster. So we'll have the three for this evening. So are you excited? So by the way, I'm Aris. I will be your host for tonight. Welcome everyone. We're so glad that you're here. Really wanted to learn and gain more knowledge of being healthy and at the same time being with this positive environment, the CCG Philippines. So just some reminders. You are all being muted just for quality of our event for tonight. But I highly encourage you to use the chat box if you want, especially you want to get to know more about you. Like just type in your name, city, your occupation, and I'm glad to read some of them. Then I also encourage you to turn on your webcam so that we have a more personal uh, personal experience now in this virtual meeting. Then and lastly, there will be a breakout room later, so I highly encourage you to stay and join this breakout room with your friends. We could do a chit chat and probably share things about what we have learned for tonight. So welcome everyone once again. Hope you learn a lot tonight, and I'll just read some comments here in the chat box. So uh, Sabina, a student from Marikina, welcome. Ryan, co-founder of CCG from Quezon City. Then we have Helen Ferzas, a teacher from Davao City. Welcome. Good evening. Uh, Miss Chanda Uy, welcome. He's welcoming as well Jane Villatima. Then we have Paul, a facilitator and consultant from Cainta. Then we have Alex, an engineer from Taguig. Engineer Ariel Dries from Alabang. Then we have an electronics engineer from Rizal. Jim, welcome. Then we have Suzanne from Hong Kong. So okay, keep your messages coming. I highly appreciate introducing yourself. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. But I don't want to take much time from our speaker. So our speaker is actually an expert in family medicine. He's also a health coach in weight management and reversing type 2 diabetes. So actually, I really learned a lot from this doctor, especially in this time of pandemic. So the concept, the principles he taught in this community really helped me and my wife manage our weight, no, this in this lockdown. So that's why I'm very excited to learn more from him tonight. So friends, please help me welcome Dr. Rico Santos.
Thank you, Aris, and welcome everyone. No, I'm Dr. Rico Santos, a family physician practitioner here in Marikina for the past 30 years in clinical practice. My main passion now is to teach people that type 2 diabetes is a reversible dietary disease. So for now, ang topic natin is food for thought, immunity and brain boosters for kids and grown-ups. No? And I'd also like to thank CCG for organizing this event, especially to Ms. Olive and Ryan Fernandez, no? Without which I would not be here because I'm usually a clinic person, only a clinic doctor. I don't speak in public, but through the program of CCG, Personal Development and Leadership Program, I am now able to talk to you. Fearless na ako ngayon. So let's begin. So yan nga ang passion ko, is to teach people not to really need too much of medicine. As much as possible, I win patients out from medicines so that they have the least amount that can sustain them in their health. So my clinic practice is in Marikina. I also have the page in Facebook, the Wellness Herald. So what's the worst health foods for kids? No, most of the time, we give these things to our kids. What's common among them, among the 6 worst health foods for kids? Can you type in the chat bar? Can you type it in the chat box, please? What's common among the 6? Right. Sugar and processed food. They are all very high in sugar and highly processed foods. So most of the time we give kids juices, no? Even if it's a natural so-called fruit juice, most of the vitamin C in them were actually removed already through pasteurization. Companies, manufacturers actually pasteurize replace the juice as well teaspoons of sugar. And also we give content. No? But Yakult is also very high in sugar. Also with flavored yogurt, no? Flavored yogurt is high in sugar. And artificially flavored. Chocolate drinks like Milo and Ovaltine, no? Yeah, very high in sugar and very little actually of cocoa or chocolate, no? weight gain formulas like Ensure that's being given to adults and seniors, Pediasure, very high in sugar, and also breakfast cereals. These products eventually will give your children insulin resistance, which will eventually lead to potentially to obesity and type 2 diabetes. So these are not really healthy foods that we should give to our kids. No? Yeah. Look at the Milo. The total carbohydrate content is around 20 grams and sugar is 12 grams. No? And whoever drinks just one glass, no? Most of the time, we drink it several times a day, especially kids. No? And yung iba nga, pinapapak pa yan. Eh. And children's IQ killers, lack of iodine. That's why salt is now fortified with iodine because it's one of the leading causes of delayed brain development. B12, especially for those who are vegetarians or vegan, they are mostly deficient in B12 because B12 is mostly in animal products and dairy products and not being breastfed. Breastfeeding actually helps the children get more omega-6, vitamin A, D, the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. And when you do not breastfeed a child and you give them bottle feeding, these bottles are usually made of plastics, and plastic have phthalates, no, that can disrupt brain development, no, especially when heated. And like I said before, high sugar diet, and also this can lead to early childhood diabetes, either type 1 or type 2, and early stages of insulin resistance and leading to reactive hypoglycemia. Meaning when children are given a high sugar diet, usually they react. No? After the high sugar diet, they experience loss of blood sugar, no, hypoglycemia. And I've read a study done that nicotinamide, a B vitamin, can actually delay the onset of type 1 diabetes. It can help the pancreas prevent type 1 diabetes. Question for you. Write it down on the chat box. What's the worst eating habit that a child could learn? See your eyes. The worst thing that a child could learn is the habit of snacking. And most parents now actually encourage snacking. When we were young, no, it was a long time ago, no, senior like me, when we were young, we were actually discouraged by our parents and lolos and lola about snacking. They always say that when it's near your regular meal time already, we should not snack anymore. Why is snacking the worst habit that a child could learn? Because it will also lead to insulin resistance and eventually to obesity and maybe also type 2 diabetes. Kasi when you are snacking, your insulin goes up. So every time we eat, insulin goes up. So when snacking, our insulin levels are always elevated persistently and eventually leading to insulin resistance. Any hormone that is too much produced by the body can be detrimental to our health, like thyroid hormone, cortisol, more so with insulin. But insulin is uh, insulin resistance is a silent illness. It doesn't the disease doesn't appear immediately. It takes decades to manifest, either as hypertension, obesity, gout, cardiovascular disease, and later on to type 2 diabetes. So that's the worst thing that a child could learn, is snacking. And when you're always snacking, insulin is always up. So you're always craving for food, especially when you're eating junk foods and refined carbohydrates. So DHA or docosahexaenoic acid is an omega-3 fatty acid, you know, like EPA. Both of them are essential fatty acids. And this is the most important nutrient for infants. Why? Because 30% of the brain and the central nervous system structure is made up of DHA for brain development, and 50% of it are in our retina, in our eyes, no? So for vision and cognitive function, very important ang DHA. No? Kaya nga ngayon, DHA is now being added to milk formulas, no? But breast milk is naturally high in omega-3s, saturated fats, and very little lactose, no? Kaya ang baby is mostly uh, taking high fats and high protein foods. No? It's also present in egg yolk, like B vitamins, phospholipids, lutein, selenium, and zinc. So, pero sa mga infants, dapat hindi pa muna binibigyan. But when you're weaning them, you should not give the egg white, the albumin, no? Kasi the albumin can cause early onset of allergy. So you should only give the egg yolk, no? Especially uh, the native eggs, no? That's very high in B vitamins, carotenoids. Kaya very dark yellow siya, yung egg yolk ng native eggs. Kaya in choosing eggs, choose the native eggs, the brown egg. No? It's also present in carb liver oil and also omega-3 supplements. No? Even adults should have omega-3 supplementations because most of our fishes right now are farmed. So very low na ang kanilang omega-3s. No? And this is very important in cognitive development. Kaya nga ang children, this is also preventive in them developing ADHD or attention deficit and hyperactivity disorders. No? So preventive din yung DHA and avoidance of high sugar diet. No? There's actually some supplements that are available for kids, yung Brainium from Nutrilite, chewable Brainium gummy omega-3 supplements. No? If not, you can always give them the omega supplements, just squeeze out the contents from the soft gel capsules. No? That's very important, yung DHA, the most important nutrient for infants as well as for adults, no? Omega-3s, most especially DHA. Ay, nawala. Anong nangyari? What happened? Oops. Mm-hmm. Ayun. So another one is the B12. This is also important in DNA synthesis, red blood cells, and nervous system development. Kaya pag kulang ka ng B12, nagkakaroon ka rin ng problema sa cognitive and brain development. So this is very important. No? It's only present in meat, fish, and dairy products. So it's very important to supplement with all the B vitamins, not just the B1, the B6, and the B12. It should be all the 8 B vitamins. And also the folic acid. It's also important in central nervous system development. That's why it's being given to pregnant women to prevent neural tube defects. No? And most vegans and vegetarians are deficient in B12. That's why it's imperative that they take a B12 vitamin or a multivitamin to prevent this deficiency. Yeah. Earlier, I talked about the Yakult, no? If you're going to give your child the Yakult, best to give the blue one, no? The blue one has stevia as its sweetener and a little bit of sugar. The difference is the red Yakult has 11 to 12 grams of sugar, while the blue has only 4 to 6 grams of sugar. And no child ever takes just one. No, they usually take 2, 3, or more. And the best way actually for probiotics is to give them a homemade yogurt. No, madali lang gumawa. It's so easy to make yogurt. No? You can always look that up in the internet. It's very easy. These are probiotic fermented foods. No? Homemade. You can take your pick. Yogurt, kombucha, sauerkraut is made from cabbage, and kefir is just like a yogurt, similar to yogurt. It's fermented milk. In adults naman, the key to healthy aging is promoting healthy joints and improve bone strength. No? Kasi if you cannot move about, what's the use of reaching your senior citizenship? No? What's the use if you cannot move about? No? So best to take care of your joints and bone strength. No? And what's the usual recommendation of doctors to seniors? To take milk, calcium, low-fat milk. That's the usual, but I don't recommend it. The best source of calcium are actually vegetables. No? Vegetables are the best source of calcium, like malunggay, kamote tops, no? The greens. Where bone formation is actually a balance between bone destruction and bone making. It's always a balance between the two, because our bone is constantly reconstructing itself to make it stronger. The old bone is absorbed and a new bone is again made. So to make new bone, you have to optimize your vitamin D from the sun or from quality supplements, especially those who are not exposed to sunlight, like the people working in BPOs, in nighttime shift. No? You only need actually 15 minutes of direct sunlight to normally produce all the vitamin D you need. It can slash the risk of cancer by as much as 67% and beneficial impact on all autoimmune diseases. Vitamin D is actually not just a vitamin, but a hormone that affects many biochemical processes in our body. And it also exhibits infection-fighting abilities in the treatment of pneumonia, colds, and flu. And right now, coronaviruses also. With bone formation, vitamin K is also important, especially vitamin K2. No? And vitamin K, K1 and K2 is actually produced from the gut, aided by our microorganisms within our gut system, our microflora. No? They are the ones who actually produce vitamin K1 and K2 through the digestion of the fiber, the green leafy vegetables. No? And we should not supplement with calcium without also supplementing with K2 or eating a lot of vegetables that are converted to K2 by the gut flora. K2 prevents the deposition of calcium in our arteries. No? It acts like a glue so that the calcium goes into our bone matrix, not into our arteries and not also in our kidneys. So if you don't have K2, most of the calcium that you will be deposited probably in your arteries, making them harder, and also calcium in our kidneys. So it's important to have K2. Calcium. Go and probably cause kidney stones. So that's important. And these are the drugs mostly prescribed for osteoporosis, the biphosphonates. No? What does it do? It actually kills bone cells. It kills the cells that produce bone. I'll go back. Huh? This one, it kills the osteoblasts. No? Osteoblasts are the bone-forming cells. Osteoclasts are the bone destructing cells. It kills the bone. It kills the bone, the cells, the bone cells that produce the bone, the osteoclast. So what remains is old bone. So when you're taking these drugs, the biphosphonates, no, you actually lose the balance between bone resorption and formation. So what you do is the body actually does not produce new bone, no? Because it's destroying the cells that destroys the old bone. So ang natitira is the old bones, which later on become brittle. So it may show in the bone densitometer that you have high dense bone, but it's mostly brittle bones. So it's better to supplement with K2, calcium, get vitamin D, or and exercise, weight-bearing exercise to make new bone, not to take these drugs actually. And this one, cruciferous vegetables, especially broccoli, is the most dense. If you must eat vegetables, you should eat at least one or two cruciferous vegetables every week, especially broccoli. It's the most dense vegetable containing all the micronutrients, especially sulforaphane, which is anti-cancer and prevents angiogenesis, the formation of blood vessels in cancer and tumors. No? It also helps with DNA synthesis. So if you're going to take vegetables, you should at least take these cruciferous vegetables, especially broccoli. What are the cruciferous vegetables? No? Cauliflower, broccoli, bok choy or pechay, turnips, and radishes, and many more. So there's a lot of variety. But the most dense is actually broccoli. It actually has higher protein content than meat. So sa mga drinks naman, instead of taking the Milo, the Ovaltine, make your own dark chocolate drink, no? Especially if made from raw cacao. But if not, you can always use the cocoa from the groceries, no? But the best source is raw cacao nibs from your favorite health food stores, no? Because it has epicatechin. It actually has the presence of flavonols and antioxidants. It's the most potent compound for stimulating the repair and growth of mitochondria. It can block the effect of fructose. Fructose is the bad sugar content in sucrose, the table sugar. Actually, in a research done, they found that in Kuna Indians in South America, they found that in an island where the Kuna Indians live, they did not see any people there that has diabetes, hypertension. So they thought they must have a special gene, the Kuna Indians. But when they moved, the Kuna Indian moved to Panama and live a city life and ate processed foods, etc., they got diabetes, they got hypertension. What the researchers found was in their island, their native island, one of their natural food and drinks was cacao chocolate drinks. They are taking it 5 cups a day. Although they have a high salt diet and high sugar diet in the island, it's actually preventing them from developing hypertension and type 2 diabetes. So maganda yung cacao, especially the raw cacao. And also green tea, it has epigallocatechin gallate, just like cacao, another family of epigallocatechins. Recommended is 3 to 5 cups a day. It's also preventative to the growth of tumors, cancers, and helps DNA synthesis. In a group of Japanese women suffering from breast tumors, that had not yet metastasized, researchers discovered that those who consumed 3 cups of green tea had 57% fewer relapses than those who drank 1 cup a day only. In men, sa prostate tumors naman, daily consumption of at least 5 reduced their cancer would progress to advanced cancer. No? So it prevents the progression to the advanced stage. Toblerone. Ikaw, Ariel, Toblerone is not dark chocolate. It's milk chocolate. The chocolate should be the bitter, at least 70 to 80% bitter. So, ito, very common sa atin to sa Philippines, ang luyang dilaw. The most active ingredient of luyang dilaw is curcumin. It's preventative for cancer, may even help with Alzheimer's. I've actually found meron siyang anti-inflammatory and pain relieving effects. No? I actually give it to patients who have allergies sa mga NSAIDs. No? Meron mga migraine, yan, binibigyan ko niyan. Nare-relieve yung kanilang headaches. No? Instead of giving them NSAIDs, no? Yung mga may allergies. No? But to make it more effective, you should add at least a pinch of black pepper to make the curcumin more active. It actually increases the activity of curcumin by 2,000% more. So when you're preparing a turmeric blend, you should add black pepper, a teaspoon of turmeric or a thumb to just one pinch of black pepper. Boil it, then you can drink the concoction, the clear liquid. It has actually many benefits, no, which I would not elucidate anymore. No? Meron siyang anti-cancer properties, anti-inflammatory, etc., etc. Another one that's very helpful is yung coconut. Coconut, especially the coconut oil. Coconut oil are very rich in medium chain triglycerides. That fatty acid, the medium chain triglycerides, are converted by our body into a ketone, beta-hydroxybutyric acid. This can serve as an alternative fuel by our body, especially the brain. So, yeah, even newborns are actually born, no? Milk from mother's milk actually has very high triglycerides, and most of them are beta-hydroxybutyrate. The human brain actually consumes 60 to 70% of total metabolism, nearly half of which are beta-hydroxybutyrate. Kaya nga lang, as the child ages, it's slowly introduced to more and more carbohydrate foods. No? This is Dr. Mary Newport. No? She's actually a pediatrician. She discovered that coconut oil can be used for Alzheimer's. She actually wrote a book. Mary Newport has a husband, an accounting husband that developed the early stages of Alzheimer's. And she was able to delay the progression of Alzheimer's of her husband by giving her coconut oil and medium chain triglycerides. She discovered it because she is a neonatologist, a pediatrician specializing in newborns. And they usually give medium chain triglycerides to newborns to help them in their development. That's how she discovered the use of coconut oil for Alzheimer's. No? She used it in her husband. No? So na-delay yung development ng Alzheimer's. The ketones provide and they can provide alternative fuel in Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's patients actually have a problem utilizing glucose as fuel because of type 3 diabetes in the brain or insulin resistance in the brain. The brain of an Alzheimer's patient cannot utilize glucose properly. So the best alternative is to have them take ketones in the form of medium chain triglycerides or coconut oil. The highest content of the food actually are coconut oil. No? As you go down the chart, it has less medium chain triglycerides. So coconut oil is good, no? Yeah. These are equivalent contents. No? Coconut milk, coconut meat, grated coconut, and coconut capsules. No? So best to take it as in liquid form. Usually 1 tablespoon. When you're just starting, start with a lower dose because you might develop diarrhea because coconut oil can act as a laxative. So start with small doses first until you acclimatize. No? Yeah, this is the recommendation of Dr. Mary Newport in giving coconut oil and MCT oil to the diet. You can screen capture this. No? Okay. So another one, this is actually a rhodiola plant that grows in mountainous regions only. There was a book, this one, The Rhodiola Revolution, authored by these two, Richard Brown and Patricia. Both are doctors, no? Rhodiola actually is the secret of USSR. That's why they have dominated the Olympics for decades, no? But when the USSR collapsed, the research is now available to the Western countries, and these two scientists discovered the papers and they authored this book, The Rhodiola Revolution. So it can help prevent, maximize energy, stress and aging, sharpen memory and concentration, protects against the heart, cancer, anxiety, even sexual function. No? Men. The possible actions of Rhodiola rosea, no? Yan, sa cognitive. No? It can help in Alzheimer's. It can also help in cognitive function, in calming. It has a calming effect. No? It's also good for the heart. Ito yung summary of kanyang benefits for mental fatigue and stress. Cognitive function improves during times of stress and fatigue, even after only a single dose and repeated administration. Meron siyang anti-fatigue effect, no? Physical, emotional, and mental. It can help with depression, no? Mental performance after a single dose, and even physical performance. Kaya nga magagaling yung mga athletes ng Eastern Bloc countries nung araw because they have the rhodiola. And it can also help with the heart. It has a more parasympathetic effect in the right dose. Pag siyempre, pag sumobra rin, it can cause tachycardia and arrhythmia. Kaya dapat just the right dose. No? We actually have a supplement that contains rhodiola. Another one that helps with immune system and brain boosting is adequate sleep for grown-ups and for kids. No? It can actually promote, lack of sleep can promote earlier onset of dementia. No? Why? Because it's during sleep that the brain detoxifies itself. Very recently, neuroscientists discovered how the brain detoxifies itself. In our body, we have the lymphatic system as a means of detoxifying itself. But in their brain, they discovered the glymphatic system. No? During sleep, our brain partially shrinks such that a space now, there is now a space between the bone and the brain matter. So there develops a space. So in that space is the lymphatic system where the brain toxic substances can exit. No? So it's very important to have adequate sleep, at least 6 and at the most 8 hours of sleep. Siyempre, we should not forget vitamin C, especially now that we have a COVID-19 pandemic. No? Vitamin C is actually protective. It's antiviral in high doses. No? I actually recommend it at least 2,000 to 600 to 6,000 milligrams a day for prevention. No? It's antiseptic and bactericidal. It has antihistamine effect. It helps in collagen formation, carnitine formation, synthesis. That's for the heart, neurotransmitters, and our hormones. Our stress hormones actually needs vitamin C, the adrenalines, the norepinephrine and epinephrine. It needs vitamin C as a cofactor for its production. So that's why during stress, we actually need more vitamin C. Doctors like Dr. Frederick Klenner, Robert Cathcart, Andrew Saul, and many others actually use high-dose vitamin C. Integrative physicians know this, no? Some of the foods that are very high in vitamin C. The highest actually is in peppers, 300 milligrams per pepper. And acerola cherries actually has 20 times more vitamin C than an orange. That one small acerola has 20 times more than an orange. Even broccoli has high vitamin C content. Kiwi, guava, parsley. So now, dapat ngayon, especially during this pandemic, we should take more of these kinds of fruits and vegetables. Low carb na siya, high in vitamin C na. Why do we need vitamin C? Because we do not make our own. Most mammals make vitamin C. Cows make around 12,000 milligrams a day, and cats around 180 milligrams a day. And those that do not are ourselves, primates, bats, and guinea pigs. But they do require higher amounts of vitamin C, 4,000 milligrams per day for a gorilla. A guinea pig requires around 30 milligrams a day. A goat makes 185 milligrams of vitamin C per day, per kilogram. And they can actually ramp up their vitamin C production to 100,000 milligrams per day when stressed or ill. Pero ang recommended lang for us humans, napakababa, which I think is too low. No? Kasi maraming functions ang vitamin C sa ating katawan. Sa ating sa white blood cell, for immune system, for the hormones, the stress hormones, like yung norepinephrine, adrenaline production, collagen production, everything. So I think we need more vitamin C, especially now that we are in a pandemic. So these are the recommendations for vitamin C use, oral use. You should always titrate to bowel tolerance, meaning ang maximum dose mo to reach should be when you already have loose stools or diarrhea, then you can now lower your dose, 50 to 90% lower. And high sugar content can actually falsely indicate a lower limit of bowel tolerance. Sugar actually can inhibit, can compete with vitamin C in the cells. No? So when you're taking vitamin C, you should also avoid taking sugar, too much sugar. So sa health, also pay attention to what the details on what drug you're taking, no? Hindi yung basta inom lang ng inom, no? You should pay attention to the details and also to the potential side effects. No? So we should research also on that. Exercise due diligence kasi most drugs have potential side effects like yung mga NSAIDs, it can have potential side effects sa gastrointestinal tract, no? Pag long-term use, yung mga NSAIDs can also harm your kidneys. Yung PPIs, PPIs are proton pump inhibitors, ginagamit for ulcer and gastroesophageal reflux, no? Prolonged intake of this drug can contribute to osteoporosis and other conditions, no? So be careful when taking drugs, no? Always take it as recommended and kung gaano lang katagal, no? And also statin drugs. Be careful about statin drugs, no? Statin drugs are cholesterol lowering drugs. Be careful of that because it can produce memory problems aside from aches and pains. No? So one thing more is we should no longer be afraid of fats, healthy fats. No, you should look up this research by the Credit Suisse, a banking institution. No, the FAT, the new health paradigm. In their research, it's actually the carb intake and highly processed vegetable oil that are causing cardiovascular diseases, not the saturated fats and cholesterol. Cholesterol is actually an important nutrient that our body produces. Even though when we're not eating too much of it, our body actually produces 80%. 20% comes from the food you eat, and 25% are in our brain. And it's essential for the production of cell membranes, hormones, vitamin D, bile acids. So it can prevent low levels, actually linked to Alzheimer's, stroke, depression, violent behavior, memory loss, and even suicide. So this is the curse, actually, processed food. Most people that I see in groceries ang kanilang cart punong-puno ng processed food. So we should go back to eating real foods, no? The things that we prepare and cook. And since most of us do not eat a perfect diet, no, we should think of supplementation. No? This is actually from our sponsor. No? I'll share a video from our sponsor. Ayan.
Imagine a world where plants have fingerprints, and where a group of scientists have fingerprinted over 1,300 of the world's botanicals to discover their health benefits, and where every seed is given a unique birth certificate to track its life from seed to supplement. Imagine a group of scientists who search the globe for the best farms on every continent, except Antarctica. Imagine a farm where nature is used to help nature, and where natural pest control is the job of falcons, like copper, and where farmers understand their plants so well that they know the precise moment to harvest to optimize their nutrients. Imagine a supplement company that uses every part of every plant, extracting essential phytonutrients for your benefit, and using the rest of the plant to revitalize the soil on its farms. Imagine a team of engineers so obsessed with product excellence that they run more than 500,000 quality checks a year on their supplements. Or a team of packaging engineers who run more than 30,000 tests in extreme conditions to ensure that your supplements will remain pure, safe, and effective from our door to yours. Imagine a life colored with the power of phytonutrients, nurtured every step of the way. Because at Nutrilite, we believe to get truly traceable supplements, you need to go behind the label. These are the real people that bring to life a world you don't have to imagine. This is the real world of Nutrilite traceability. Imagine a world where
I always wanted to explore what are the good things nature has to offer. Nutrilite is all about botanicals. So it's a very good marriage between me and Nutrilite. My name is Amit Chandra. I'm a phytochemist at Nutrilite. In Nutrilite, we are very particular about consistency in growing, analyzing, and delivering in our products. We have to harvest them, and then we process them to the extracts and the raw materials which go into our products. The process that Nutrilite applies needs collaboration. A lot of people work together to ensure we maintain the quality to the supplement stage. We have a lot of scientists who understand those phytochemicals and manage the quality of the phytonutrients. We control the whole process starting from seed to supplement. It's it's a very good combination of nature and science coming together. That's why we call it best of nature, best of science.
So that's it. You're now at the crossroads, whether you go for help or stay as you are. So thank you for inviting me to this event. I give you back to our host, Aris.
Yes. Thank you, Doc Rico, for sharing those valuable information. So I guess most of us learned a lot from there. You can give your chat or your thanks or using the chat box, or you can hit the reaction button. Either you do a thumbs up or a clap. So once again, Doc Rico, thank you so much for those information you shared to us. We learned a lot tonight.
Hello.
But before we
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
So by the way, we could do some questions and answers. Do you want to?
Sure.
Is there some questions?
If you have.
Yeah. Probably we can do 2 or 3 questions.
Yeah, sure.
So there is a question. Can you tell us what Nutrilite have? Like rhodiola.
Rhodiola. We have the excess rhodiola. It has rhodiola. I've actually tried it. It gives, instead of taking energy drinks, I usually take rhodiola if I need to be up and about. Okay. And it has many benefits. One IBO actually gave it to his son who's playing basketball. A child. Sabi ko, half lang. Enjoy na enjoy yung bata. Very up and about. It's very safe. Our rhodiola. Excess rhodiola.
Yes. I usually use that before running a marathon. So I think.
But don't take it every day. Just when you need it.
Yeah. Okay. Another question. If the 75 to 90 milligram is low, how much is the real vitamin C we need to take daily?
At least 2,000 milligrams. 2,000 to 6,000 milligrams a day. The good thing about our Nutrilite acerola is it's combined with flavonoids, no? Flavonols. So it has synergistic effect. I found that out before I was prescribing ascorbate to patients, no? Even though they were already taking high doses of the ascorbate, when they switch to acerola, even if it's lower dose, no, the acerola is actually more effective. But I usually give it mga 10, 20 tablets a day when they're sick. But for maintenance, you can do with 2 to 4 tablets for adults. For children, 1 or 2 a day. But make sure that, especially with toddlers, make sure that it's crushed before you give it to them. So kasi for prevention of choking, baka mag-choke sila do sa tablet. So crush the tablet or dissolve the tablet first.
Okay, thanks, Doc Rico. So another question here from Chad and Jovi. what are the alternative if mom cannot breastfeed?
If mom cannot breastfeed, usually before, right now yata meron ng mga milk bank, breast milk bank. Breast milk bank. Nung araw, mothers usually hire an ama to breastfeed the child. No? But now, dahil sa promotion ng milk formulas, yun ang naging alternative. But currently, what is promoted now, especially by the DOH, and even obstetricians and pediatricians, are breastfeeding right after giving birth, no? Kasi it's healthier, no? So merong mga available na na milk bank ngayon. Breast milk bank.
Okay. Hope that's answered the question. Another question here from Miss Olive Fernandez Bernabe. Can you talk about double X?
Double X. Baka triple X ang kailangan ni Miss Olive. For Frank. Double X actually has many ingredients na, especially the phytonutrients, no? Meron siyang quercetin, yung galing sa mga sibuyas, garlic. It actually has antiviral properties and immune booster ang double X. Magaling yung double, especially now that we have pandemic. At saka meron na siyang calcium, may magnesium. You don't actually have to take another supplement calcium when you're taking double X. Double X lang and yung omega 3s. That would be enough. But also take vitamin C kasi mababa lang yung vitamin C ng double X. You need more vitamin C now.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay, thank you, Doc Rico, for answering those questions. We really appreciate it. So I guess for those who wants to talk more about health later on and regarding the products that Doc Rico shared, you can also ask the person who invited you on how to get access to those. And we could do a chit chat during breakout rooms in case you have questions. Then I guess there will be a window popping up. But before that, as part of our program here every 8 p.m. So tomorrow will be on the wealth part, no, of this program. So at the same time, 8 p.m., we'll have a No Borders Project webinar. This will be shared by one of our leaders in CCG Philippines, Coach Ariel Dries. So I highly encourage you to join if you're into business, you want to start your own business or have an income on the side wherein you can do this wherever you are. Like you can be a global entrepreneur. So you really need to be here tomorrow to learn more about our No Borders project. So just do a screen cap of the meeting details there and or ask the person who invited you on how to get access to this event tomorrow. So again, hope some of you can join us tomorrow if you're really looking for options, especially now in this day. So now we can proceed with the breakout room. So just wait for a pop-up window and just click join the breakout room so that you could automatically transfer to a smaller room wherein we could share info about health, or if you have questions, we could talk more about it. So it's been awesome and I've been blessed to be with you tonight. So stay safe and stay healthy.